welcome to another episode of What the Puck, brought to you by Game On, a sports podcast for everyone. I'm your host, Don, joined by Jeff here today. Unfortunately, Drew couldn't make it. He had other commitments. That's understandable. But I will say this. I think this is going to be called the Upside Down episode because every time I turn on the TV and I see the Islanders winning, I feel like I'm in the Upside Down in Stranger Things and I'm dying slightly inside every second of them leading a game.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Dude, I don't understand what it is. I think the NHL hates me. I think maybe I'm fueling the Islanders. I don't know. Maybe I'm locker room content for them, and they're just like, look at this asshole. We're gonna win because he's a dick. I don't know what it is, but man, hockey side of things, they're just destroying Philadelphia. Carter Hart looks like a piece of Swiss cheese, man. It's insane. I don't understand. I don't know what to say about that series. I hate that series with all my heart. But see what I did there? But I just don't know. The Islanders,
it's the heart of the city too.
The Islanders are just a hell of a team right now, man.
That series is fun to watch. I know you can't stand the Islanders. I technically need to hate the Islanders, but I technically need to hate Philly too. And it's one of those series where I don't care who wins. It's a fun series to watch. It's back and forth, whether or not they're making Hart look like whatever the hell he wants to be called right now. But I mean, it's back and forth. It's consistent. The Tampa Bay series, I mean, it's good to see Boston losing.
Yes.
But it's kind of a boring series to watch. There's lack of, I don't know, there's just, you know what I'm trying to get at on this one?
Yeah, I mean, those kind of games where you have, like, Wednesday night, 7-1. Like, that's not fun hockey for me. That's just, they scored 2 goals in 15 seconds. It was just a drubbing from the beginning of the game. Boston came out flat as shit. Their top line couldn't do anything. I mean, Tampa Bay's defense was just suffocating constantly. It almost looked like they went back to the old days from the trap.
It's a trap!
Or they would just, like the Devils in Tampa played that trap game. And the Flyers, Jesus. I'm shell-shocked. I'm shell-shocked. This is why. No, just Boston couldn't put anything together. And, it's funny. Every week we come on and we talk. And every time we talk about something, we'll talk about how Halak looks great and Tuukka Rask leaving was the best thing that ever happened to the Bruins. And the exact fucking opposite happens, and it makes us look like a bunch of retards. But I don't know what to say. I mean, obviously you go through, it's the playoffs, anything can happen. But you look at Tampa, and they're flying in all cylinders. I mean, Kucherov, Palat, Point. I mean, and they're doing this without Stamkos and without McDonough.
Yeah.
They're doing this without 2 of their best players, one of their top defensemen, and probably one of their top guys. Kucherov's up there, so you can't say Stamkos is the lone wolf there anymore. Yeah. But that's insane. What is Boston doing? I don't understand. They have a full lineup. So maybe that series turns around because we're talking about this right now, and we'll put on the game, and Boston will win 13-1, and it's one of those things.
I had a long night last night, Donnie, and saying Boston's going to turn around just might bring back bad memories from last night.
Yeah, I know that would be the worst thing possible for you to see. Yeah, and then going out west. I mean, you look Dallas, quick 2-0 start against Colorado. The other night, Dallas is up 3-1. Next thing you know,
It survived it, but then it's in front. Como scores the draw. Lindell scores. Here, McKinnon in front. Brandon scores. Ross cannot shot scores. They're scoring. Pierre-Edouard.
Not anymore.
Nope.
That was a hell of a game to watch. And I really enjoyed that game, honestly. That I knew that was going to be a fun series to watch, and to see guys on Dallas like Corey Perry, Radulov playing his ass off. Then you have McKinnon carrying the team on his back. It's one of those things where everyone's stepping up in that series. So I'm super excited to continue that series.
I think their biggest savior though has been Dobby. Khudobin has saved them to bring them where they are. And before that loss, I think he went on a 5-game win streak in the playoffs. Before that, lost what was it, 6-4 that game?
6-4, yeah.
Yep. That was his first loss in 5 games to help them get.
Yeah, he's killing it. And you look at how he's playing. I mean, Colorado, and again, this is it's continuing the trend, because we talked about how Colorado, man, they look like garbage and they're down 2-0, and Dallas is all this stuff, and then they go down 3-1, and it looks like Dallas is going to come away with a 3-0 series lead, and Colorado's on their last leg, and then boom, like McKinnon, Kadri, all these guys, Cale Makar, they just step it up, man. And Francois, didn't have the best game, but it's I don't know. It'll be fun to watch the continuation of that series.
He's still a rookie, I think.
Francois?
If I'm correct, yeah, isn't he still a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, he came in after Grubauer got hurt, and things looked a little iffy in game 2, but he stepped it up, and you can't knock him for it. I mean, those are the stories that you like to see, because then this is what happens. They come in the playoffs. This guy plays well. Maybe they win the series on his back. Maybe they play well, because I don't think Grubauer is going to come back. I mean, it looked like, and I don't know if you saw the injury, but that had to hurt. It looked like he pulled his groin.
Yeah.
And if you're a goalie and you pull your groin, nope. That's going to be a little bit. So they're riding his coattails right now. And if he could come through in game 4 and step it up, and they tie this series up, it's anyone's series. And I like both of these teams in the West. And like I said last episode, I'm a Western Conference guy now, because the Eastern Conference is dead to me. I don't care. Like, I do care from a hockey standpoint. Like, obviously we're following it.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Philadelphia and the Islanders, yeah, and Boston. The only team that I would actually root for out of the Eastern Conference is Tampa, because it's like Rangers South, and I've said that before. Half the team is Rangers, ex-Rangers that they traded, and it'd be nice to see McDonough get a cup. I mean,
also speaking of Tampa, one of the kids from my hometown that grew up here partially, Zach Bogosian, he made a hell of an assist. I think it was game 2 game 2 where he got the puck, brought it all the way up into the offensive zone, and as he's going down, passes it over to I forgot who it was, but as he was falling, he like swung at it and it went straight through Halak's legs. Just beautiful. If you haven't seen it, I highly advise you to go back and watch that.
It was Braden Point. I think it was Braden Point that got that.
I think so, yeah.
Bogosian set it up for Braden Point. Yeah, that was a sick goal. There's been a lot of great goals. I mean, a lot of them coming from the Western Conference. You look at Brock Besser and Elias Peterson being, some of those guys to do that. But, moving on to that other West Coast series, Vancouver and the Knights. I mean, I don't know.
2 shutouts.
Your background is says it all. I mean,
yeah.
Leonard, man, good Lord. It's more the fact that I feel that he's sticking it to Blackhawks fans at this point, because they traded him with no – I mean, you feel bad for the guy. He wanted to stay in Chicago, and you look at what they could have had. Yep. Granted, obviously, they don't have the team in front of them like, Vegas does. Vegas has a solid team, but Leonard's just sticking it to him. And the fact that Flurry hasn't played this series at all, and they're just flying right now. They're 2 wins in the series. They're up 2-1, 2 shutouts. Vancouver, game 2, they kind of found an answer. They got a little lucky here or there, and they put a couple in and, got by the skin of their teeth. But, dude, Vegas is just like, yeah, okay, well.
I think they're going to lift the cup, honestly. I think the cup's theirs.
There's a hard reason, to believe that. I mean, they deserved it when they played Washington in the finals. I think they outplayed them. I mean, it was just Washington's year, and
yep.
And they played well. It's Ovechkin, but dude, Vegas, Ovechkin's not there. I mean, I don't know. I don't see either Dallas or Colorado giving them a problem.
No,
not with Leonard the way he's playing. He's playing out of his mind.
It's funny too because he's getting a lot of press right now because they're like, oh, you're playing more than Flurry is. How's Flurry feel about that? Do you think you're better than Flurry type of stuff? And I mean, last night he was like, the coach is going to play who the coach is going to play. We won't know until game day. And if I play, I play. If I sit the bench, I sit the bench. I'll take it. We just want to win the cup. And that's the same thing that Fleury's like. He's like, I understand that he's on a hot streak right now. I'm not going to do anything to disrupt what we have as a team. And I just want to win the cup.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing with the press. And we talked about it last week with the whole Fleury situation and the tweet with his agent. But what do you expect this guy to say? You think he's going to say, yeah, 100%, I feel like I'm better than Fleury. He's not going to say that. Guy's a gamer. This is the playoffs. He's been around. Both of them have been around. You know that they're going to play the hot hand. And right now it's Leonard. So, I mean, I don't – if Leonard gets lit up next game by Vancouver, expect to see Fleury in net 100%. Yep. But until that comes, why would you even think about just keep playing the guy that, these guys in the press, these reporters and all that, yeah, obviously they know more than I do because they're there. But the whole thing is, why are you trying to bait this guy into saying something he's not going to say? He's not going to be like, yeah, I'm better, and yeah, he's playing me because I'm better. No, I'm playing well. I'm coming in every day to prepare to play, and I think both of them are. Fleury is too. So why? Yeah. I don't know. And goalies are crazy anyway. They're not going to.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. They're not going to. I mean, he's not going to say anything. He may say something out of the ordinary, but he's not going to divulge anything to where you're going to get a bit of information like that. So that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah.
Also, being a goalie, another reason being a goalie is you have to have that tad bit of arrogance and cockiness, but at the same time, confidence is key thing too. And when you put all three of those together, it can be a fun but dangerous combination, especially once you get focused, once you hit that spot on the ice and you zone in, it's almost like the whole entire world shuts down in front of you and you can see everything.
That's one of those things like in the NHL with goalie tandems where you see guys, like Fleury and Murray, or, Henrik and Talbot, and guys like this that have played together. And there were goalie competitions. I mean, that year that Henrik went down and Talbot played lights out.
Oh yeah.
Years, and then Henrik came back. Obviously, you give the job back to Henrik, but he played a little less than he did because Talbot was playing well. But now when you see them together, like if they play each other, they'll talk. There's never any animosity. They're just competitors. They're gamers. Yep. They come to play the game. They're going to prepare to play just like any other day. And it's the coach's decision at that point.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? That's the way hockey is. That's the way it's been. I've never seen any animosity between a goalie duo or any kind of tandem before like that because of the way these guys are. It's not, they're not out to get each other, but they're going to prepare to play just like anyone else. So
and there's no real backup either anymore. It's like goalie A and goalie A1 and A2.
Yeah.
And a lot of the backups now are big names. I mean, a lot of there's very few teams that you don't know who the backup is. Where back in the day, we knew who the main goalie was, but half the time you'd have to sit there and actually look up or think about who the backup was.
Not anymore. I mean, look at Dallas. Khudobin and Ben Bishop is the backup goalie. Khudobin has taken that spot. I mean, Ben Bishop was a premier goalie in Tampa.
Yeah, he was.
And I mean, he was a big dude. He covered the whole net. I mean, he's tall as fuck. And then, you know, the same thing with, look at the Rangers this year. 3.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's a problem all in itself. It was never a good situation, and that was the only flaw I feel that they had going into the season. You have a guy like Georgiev, Igor Shesterkin, and Henrik Lundqvist.
Yep.
Igor comes in, wins fucking, you know, his first 10, 11 games. Henrik is on the decline. Georgiev is solid. I mean, what do you do? And then, you know, you have teams like, I mean, look at Carolina. Although I really feel Brindamore played too hard into that. I think he should have stuck with one, in my opinion. But, I mean, I'll leave that to you. But, I mean, Mrazek and Reimer. Reimer, obviously, knows his stuff, has playoff experience. Mrazek, he does as well. I mean, those are good problems to have, in my opinion. And now as a goalie going into the NHL, or even, you know, being called, quote, unquote, a backup, that's never your role anymore. Like I remember back in the 90s, and again, I use the Rangers because that's who I know very well. You had Richter and Healy. Glenn Healy was his backup.
Yep. But then before Healy, Beezer was still on there until he went to Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Beezer was the number 1 before Richter became the number 1. I mean, Van Beezer. And, I mean, Richter was an unknown before that. And then, you know, Glenn Healy, he wasn't an unknown. Everyone knew who Glenn Healy was.
Oh, yeah.
But you knew it was Richter's team. For years, I don't remember who Brodeur's backup was for a long time because when did he play? What was it? Chris Terreri, I think, was his backup for a while in Jersey in the 90s, and when they won the cup, it was Chris Terreri, I believe. And that's only because I follow the sport and I know, but the average Joe is not going to know that it was Chris Terreri.
Holy crap! I don't even remember seeing him play that year.
No, because. Are you serious? Why would you? And that's back in the day when these goalies played. You had 82 games. They played 70, 75 games. And that's the problem that I feel why Henrik and I feel Carter Hart is going to fall into that same category. L.A. Vigneault loves playing his number 1 all the time.
Yep.
All the time. And that's why I think Henrik – he got a little burned out. It was 1 year. He played like 73 games.
Yeah, I remember that.
With Ranta on the bench. There's no need for that. And that's why I think he's burnt out now. Like, he's shot.
Yep.
And Vigneault's known for that. So, hey, Flyers fans, just letting you know, you better get a good backup soon or have something, because if he keeps playing Carter Hart, he's known for that. He did the same thing. With Luongo. He did the same thing with Schneider in Vancouver when he was there. Yep. And then it's one of those things where, dude, you gotta play your backup now. All these goalies are good that come out. Look at Columbus's problem now.
Oh yeah,
Korpisalo and Merzlikins.
Yep.
A lot of teams have this problem, and. You know, in my opinion, it's a good thing to have. If you're signed on and you're playing and you're a goalie number 2 with an asterisk next to it, because, I would not – if I had 2 good goalies, I'd split them regardless. And then in the playoffs, you play the hot hand. That's just how it should go. So
that's what I think was Carolina's downfall against the Bruins. They kept on switching back and forth. You can't do that in the playoffs.
You can. In the playoffs, you can't.
This is not Pee-wee hockey. This is not little kid hockey. You don't have to give time to both goalies.
No, you can't do that, man. You just can't.
And I think they should have stuck with Reimer. a lot of people jumped on the Mrazek train when we picked him up last year, because he was originally supposed – or not this last year, but the year before that. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be the backup to Darling. And then Darling got injured. Mrazek stepped in, and within like 2 days after that happened, that's when they picked up McElhenney, who's now at Tampa right now. And so after McElhenney left us, they went out and picked up Reimer and a few other goalies, and it became a goalie battle during a preseason. Went to quite a few other practices, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But when you have way too many goalies, it becomes a tug of war. Who are you going to put in? And again, for all the teams that are winning games right now, how many times have they switched out their goalie like back and forth?
Yeah.
Unless of injury.
I mean, Tampa has kept Vasilevsky in there for – I haven't seen anyone else in net for them. Have you?
No.
Same thing with Dallas. I don't think Bishop's played that much.
No, he played in the first round, and then they switched out Bishop for Dobby, who basically helped him push into the second round the way that he played.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you know, this whole thing with Vegas, I mean, Leonard just – good Lord. I mean, I enjoy watching him play. He was good with Chicago. I feel bad for him because he wanted to stay here, and they didn't give him the chance. They just traded him. He sent a letter to the team and the city and everybody, and he was like, I really enjoyed my time in Chicago. I would have liked to stay there. Stan Bowman fucked that up hard. That was stupid. And they're more worried about signing, guys that shouldn't matter. Yeah, shouldn't matter. It's just fun to watch, and like you, I mean, I'm a goalie guy. I enjoy watching goalies, and these kind of storylines make it fun to watch, to see. It's almost like a chess match with this stuff, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, these 4 series that are going on right now, out of all of them, the 2 Western Conference ones have been the more intriguing to me. I mean, obviously now you look. And I know I'm going to say this, like I said earlier, and Boston's going to turn it around. But I hope
no, time out. No.
I know.
Take that back.
I hope not. But Tampa looks to move on. It honestly looks like the Islanders, and maybe that'll be a good series. I don't know. Obviously, I'll be rooting for Tampa in that one without a doubt. Without a doubt in my mind. God, if the Islanders get swept, it'd make it that much better. But I don't think that's going to happen. Vegas looks fantastic. I mean, like you said, you'd be surprised if they don't lift Stanley. And dude, Dallas, again, my dark horse from the beginning, from when they first announced that these playoffs and this whole thing, play-ins and everything was going to start. And it's right now, they're still up 2-1. It should be fun to watch Game 4. We'll see where that goes. But I'm curious, there's a lot of storylines. There was a decent trade that was made. I wouldn't say decent because I feel like Toronto
got the shit end of the stick.
No, I mean, I think Toronto won that trade, to be honest. I think Pittsburgh – I don't understand Pittsburgh's need for Kapanen. They have solid 3 lines. Unless they're looking to dump somebody or do something, that's not what their need was. They got destroyed by the Islanders.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not the Islanders. I'm sorry, by the Habs.
Or, yeah.
See, shell shock. It just happens.
It's been a rough couple of days.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't understand. Definitely, in my eyes, you look at Pittsburgh's lineup. So you got Crosby, Gensel, Malkin, Rust, Zucker. Where's Kapanen? This I don't understand. The guy takes penalties. He's not that great of a player. I mean, they originally drafted him out of Pittsburgh, so congratulations, you're back where you started.
Yeah.
But the guys that Pittsburgh got back, I mean, it just looked like it just. I'm gonna pull it up here because I should have had it, but
I think they threw everything into a Yahtzee cup and shook it up and said, all right, what can we get out of this, and just roll it. And that's what came up for both teams. And they're like, all right, I'll trade you for a go. No, our goalies are good. We won't trade goalies, especially with Toronto, because Toronto usually will.
And I mean, let's be honest. So here's what Toronto got in return. And right off the bat, I'll tell you that they won this trade. So they got a 2020 first-round pick, 15th overall.
Yep.
And this is a deep draft. This is a deep draft. You know, who knows what that 15th pick turns into. Or maybe they trade that pick into something else. I'm not sure. They also got Evan Rodriguez, a decent center, a defenseman, David Warovsky, and Philip Hollander. They got 3 prospects and a first-round pick for Kasperi Kapanen.
They're probably doing it for cap space.
That's got to be it. But why not address something? Why not address a need? Why not address the defense? Why not address the goaltending issue and the gleaming problems you guys have? Why? I mean, he had a real subpar year this year. Granted, the season didn't finish out, but 13 goals, 23 assists for Kapanen. You know, he's not a real plus-minus guy. He doesn't really play on the power play that much. I mean, I don't know. I feel to give up 3 prospects, whether they be, you know, A, B, or C prospects, I mean, I think Rodriguez is the biggest name prospects-wise there. Warovsky is a decent defender, but
what if they're doing it for trade bait? Send a bit better package deal along with one of the goalies somewhere.
But a first-round pick? So Toronto gains their first-round pick back that they traded, and they gain 3 prospects in the deal who are decent. I mean, Rodriguez, like I said, probably the best one out of the 3. Kevin Hollander, Warovsky's a solid defenseman. But I don't know. Kapanen just doesn't impress me. He didn't impress anyone in Toronto, obviously. And Pittsburgh picks him up they have forwards. Their offense isn't the problem, in my opinion.
I know, but again, maybe it's how some teams pick up players that they don't really need and then use it for trade bait later because Murray or wow, I can't even remember the other goalie's name now.
Tristan Jarry.
Send Kapanen and one of those 2 to a team along with this or that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great package deal for a team out there right now.
But a team like Pittsburgh, who's, you know, you got Crosby, you got Malkin, they're only getting older. While I'm not saying they're out of their prime, they're only getting older, and you can see it. That window is closing for Pittsburgh. It's damn near slammed after losing to Montreal in the play-in round.
Oh, yeah.
You figure you would want to keep those draft picks to try to build on something and not trade away prospects for a guy like Kapanen. Yeah, you can package him up. You could do something. You know they're going to trade a goalie, just don't know which one. I mean, knowing the team, I know which one, but who knows?
Yeah.
You just, you know, I don't know. It's to me, it was a pointless trade. And you give away a first rounder on a team where let's face it, you're probably going to start rebuilding in a year or 2 years. So you give away 3, you know, prospects, I'll call them. Warovsky, maybe, like I said, but I don't know. I feel that trade was pointless. When I saw it, I was like, what the hell is this? What are they addressing here? And maybe you're right. I mean, and that's a good way to look at it. Maybe they will package him up with something. Don't be surprised, Penguins fans. I'm telling you, don't be surprised if you see a guy like Malkin or someone get shafted and sent somewhere. Yep. Don't count it out. Don't count it out because they're going to have to start rebuilding. These guys, okay, and I don't care if people think I'm biased. I don't give a fuck. The Rangers have done something that teams can only wish they can do. Yeah, luck of the draw, obviously. You know, good prospects, you know, the Rangers having money and spending it, all that kind of stuff has played into it. But a lot of teams are going to be looking that route to see how they can rebuild quicker than normal. all Ranger fans, including myself, were buckled in for no playoffs and a shitty team for 3 to 4 years. That ain't the case anymore. Yeah, they got destroyed by Carolina, and I'm sure Gordon will address that physical presence aspect of it. But you have teams like Pittsburgh that are dropping now. You have teams like
Washington evens.
Yeah, Washington. I can't complain about Washington. As long as they have Ovechkin, I don't care how old he is. He'll be scoring 40, 50 goals a year until he's like 45, 50. He's going to be young.
You know what team might go actually offer something is the LA Kings.
Oof.
The Kings might actually offer Pittsburgh something for that package deal. So they would pay for it. They don't really have anybody on their team minus Kopitar, Brown, and who's the goalie?
Even Brown. I mean, that guy's falling hard. He was the captain there, and they stripped him of that, and they got rid of Toffoli. I mean, that would be a tough sell for Malkin. I think he would want to go somewhere where he would win a cup. God, if the Rangers get him, I'll be pissed. I'll be honest with you. Because I don't like him as a player. I think he's a piece of shit as a player. Yeah, he's good, but I don't like him as a player. I see someone, who I see where I see him going? A team like Montreal. A team like that. Even a team
on Washington.
Yeah,
pair him up with Wilson.
God, oh my God, that whole team. You'll have Ovechkin, Malkin, and Kuznetsov.
Yeah.
And Kovalchuk, if he decides to stay. Man, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I have to watch that storyline. I mean, the likelihood of them letting go of Malkin is probably slim, although it's possible. Because let's face it, they're dropping down. They're not really. I mean, you lose to a team that shouldn't have been in the playoffs. That's going to spark some change. So we'll see what happens. I think they need to adjust their defense. They need to figure out their goalie situation. Obviously, if they trade away one of their guys, they got to figure out who's going to come as a backup. Look for Pittsburgh to be in that Holtby sweepstakes, or if the Rangers get rid of like a Georgiev or someone like that, definitely look at Pittsburgh to be involved in that, although I don't think the Rangers would make a deal with them. Who knows?
Did you see Lundqvist going to Pittsburgh?
No.
No.
There's two things that I think is going to happen with that. I honestly see Henrik staying in New York as an advisory role and getting a role up in the front office and retiring, because that'll help the team and he'll win a cup with the team in a non-player role. Or he is the true backup. They trade Georgiev. Shesterkin is the starter because, let's face it, the kid's amazing.
Yep.
And Henrik stays. He plays 10, 15, 20 games max. And that's who they roll with. Those are the two scenarios I see. I don't see them trading him. He has a no-trade clause. He doesn't want to leave New York. He loves it there. I just don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. If it does, that's really disappointing on the Rangers organization's part, in my opinion. John Davidson, Jeff Gordon, I really hope that's not the case. We'll see what happens. But it'll be a lot of fun to watch this goalie movement throughout the offseason, and a shortened offseason at that. You have possible Game 7 of the Stanley Cup October 4th. Draft is the 9th and the 10th of October. Season starts up again the first week of December.
Yep.
So there's going to be a shortened offseason. Teams are going to be looking to make moves. You look at this one that just happened, Pittsburgh. I mean, while that's not, I wouldn't say a bigger move. There was a first-round pick and a guy who can score 20 goals, which he did last year, involved in a trade. So it's a decent-sized move. Multiple players. So that was, obviously a move in general. But I don't know. It'll be interesting, the landscape on how that goes, to see how quick teams pull the trigger on stuff.
Yep. And that's what I'm actually looking forward to. It's going to be a crapshoot for a while.
Yeah,
everybody's going to be, what can you offer? What do you want? What can I give you? What kind of deal do you want to make? And it's going to happen as soon as I guarantee you the day after the Stanley Cup is lifted, there's going to be some stuff that we didn't even think we'd see before.
I mean, I think it's already happening. There's a lot of wheels in motion. Obviously, the teams that aren't in the playoffs, there's a lot of phone calls being had. I mean, these guys are bored. They can't go anywhere. It's still COVID. They're looking to make their fans happy. They're hoping they could put fans in the stands next season, at least at minimal form. They may stay in the bubble because they had their, Daly and Bettman had their conference the other day. They really like what they're seeing and how they're keeping it together. There hasn't been any positive tests. The continuation of hockey, except for the stoppage the other day, that we're not going to get into. Other than that, I mean, it'll be fun to watch the offseason. A lot of teams are going to be dipping in pots that they normally wouldn't. I wonder if Buffalo is going to make a move. They usually always are good for one or two that are puzzling. Wonder if they go after a goalie because they really don't have a clear number one. If they go after a guy like Holtby or Murray or Georgiev or someone like that is going to be moving or switching teams, who knows? Maybe Flurry switches teams. I don't know. We don't think that there's an issue there. Maybe there is. I don't know. I doubt it highly.
He loves it out in Vegas. He absolutely loves it. And
then you look at a team like the Blackhawks, who's going to be in for a goalie as well. There's no way they go in with Subban and
Crawford.
Subban and Crawford again. I think Crawford is on his last leg here at Chicago. Don't be surprised if either he moves or he becomes number two. Subban goes over to Rockford, and whatever the case may be. I don't see them going into a season with Crawford, Delia, or Subban. I don't see that happening. So it's going to be interesting to see. A lot of fun stuff. One big injury update. So Vladimir Tarasenko of the St. Louis Blues, he's going to be out 5 months for shoulder surgery. So that's going to be a bite to them, especially if the season starts at the beginning of December. He might miss a month or two rehabbing that. So, look for St. Louis to see if they can kind of cushion that, see what they might try to bring in.
They need to do something during this offseason. They
do. They can't stick with the same team. Binnington didn't look the same as he did in that cup run. Again, who knows? This has been a weird playoff. It's been weird, and things aren't the same. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next season.
Out of all honesty, I don't care who wins the cup as long as it's not Boston. But it's going to be interesting to see who wins it this year because there's teams in there that haven't even done it before, as well as teams that haven't done it since the early 90s.
Yeah.
Or not early 90s, but early 2000s. Colorado lifted it when they still had Patrick Waugh in net. Dallas lifted it. When did Dallas lift it?
99?
With Brett Hall.
99?
I think so.
Yeah, against Buffalo?
Yep. I think they lifted it then. It's Vegas hasn't lifted it. Vancouver's never lifted it. Boston. What's that?
They've come close, but thank you to the New York Rangers. They haven't lifted it.
Yep.
And Boston. But
Boston, who cares about Boston?
Don't even say who I think you're going to say.
They haven't done it since the
year I was born.
Dynasty team. They have not done it since 84.
No, 83.
Or 83.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yuck.
That's right.
I hate that that's the team that won the year I was born. Gross.
And the Flyers haven't done it since
79?
No. 74 or 75. And if League's going to listen to this, he's probably going to shoot me because he always tells me.
Well, that's a long time. And it doesn't look – and sorry, Lee, but it doesn't look like they're going to do it this year. I can commiserate with you because of the team that's beating them. I do apologize. But, guys, thank you so much. Jeff, thanks for coming on. Again, don't forget to hit us up on social media. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you disagree with us, not that we care, but let us know. Let us know. Any Islander fans want to come at me, please do. I love it. I relish in it. My cousin yells at me all the time. Shout out Lexi again. I hate you, and I hate the Islanders.
Just speaking of shout-outs, I have an idea.
Okay.
If you want us to give you a shout out here on the show, leave us a message either on the Facebook or on the Instagram page, the Twitter page, comment below on our YouTube page.
Yeah.
And me and Donnie will go ahead and kind of randomly select a name. Just let us know if there's anything you want us to say at the end of the show, and we'll make sure it gets shouted.
Yeah, as long as it's not Let's Go Islanders. I will not be saying that ever. Never.
Bruins suck.
Yep. But guys, yeah, don't forget, check us out. Game On everyone on Twitter, Game On Sports Podcast on Instagram. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit the little ding dong so you know when our videos come out. Let us know what's going on. Thank you again. Here from What the Puck, brought to you by Game On Sports Podcast, me and Jeff. See you guys later. Have a good one.
Go Knights, go.
An opening up the wing. Hit the post with the shot. Michael Stone. Oh, my God. Goodbye. Good night. Game over.
That's a hard